Hello, I'm Kerry Shamblin, and I practice Jyotish, also known as Vedic Astrology. I have been offering a monthly forecast since 1999 where I track how the planets are moving through the sky and how they may be affecting our life on Earth. I also work directly with others through counseling, teaching, and mentoring. Hello, this is Kerry with the August 2025 Vedic Astrology forecast. Let us start with a summary from each of the 9 planets. The Sun. The first half of August sees the Sun moving through watery Cancer with retrograde Mercury, pulling us through an emotional environment where we may not be sure what to say or how to express feelings. August 16th, the Sun moves into his own sign of Leo, normally a powerful transit for the Sun. Ketu's presence in Leo challenges the leadership and self-expression through mid-September, while Saturn's aspect brings limitations. The Moon. August begins with a waxing moon that becomes full in Capricorn on August 10th, urging us to slow down and look around as we seek clarity. Through the middle of August, the moon wanes, joining the Sun in Leo for the new moon on August 22nd, where we take stock, reset, and prepare to pivot. Mars is in Virgo for all of August, leading us to take stock and regroup as we move forward deliberately into new campaigns while learning and healing from the sting of recent past lessons. Mercury. Retrograde Mercury splashes in Cancer through August 10th when he resumes direct motion and helps us sort our way out of the snags. Use the latter part of August to pick up dropped threads, process emotionally, and reorganize communication and organizational tools. Jupiter continues to teach and preach from the streets of urban Gemini, bringing expansive enthusiasm for learning and growing. Until August 20th, Venus joins Jupiter, bringing positive creative energy to the signs of Gemini and Sagittarius. Venus is the ruler of social responsibility and relationships, and joins Jupiter and Gemini through August 20th, urging us to attend to our learning trajectories and business management. When Venus joins Mercury in Cancer on August 20th, our attention may turn toward healing activities, including socializing with our close friends and family. Saturn continues to churn and turn in Pisces in retrograde motion, walking us back collectively through the territory he traversed in the spring. This could show up as walking back on some foundational decisions, while at the same time encouraging detachment from legacies that are not currently serving a purpose. Rahu continues his genius-level innovations in Aquarius, continuing to amplify the growth of Jupiter in Gemini due to a mutual aspect that will become exact toward the end of August. For all of the air signs, this big energy will continue to ramp up through August and September. Ketu in Leo is getting the visitors this summer, urging us to identify our internal blockages and find freedom to be ourselves. On August 16th, the Sun moves into Leo, setting up the next eclipse season, which comes in September. The shadow play between Ketu and the Sun brings opportunities for inner clarity and liberation from confining beliefs. For an in-depth analysis of specific planetary placements, please continue listening to the full planetary forecast. Mars in Virgo, July 28th through September 18th. After accelerating past Ketu in late July, which could have felt intense in the way of pushing through an obstacle, moving a mountain, or discovering a hard-won solution, Mars moves into Virgo. If all goes as planned, there may be some rubber actually hitting the road soon. Before we gun that engine, let's realize that there are a couple of surmountable barriers in the road that require our attention. First, Mars will be moving through opposition with Saturn in Pisces for this entire transit. This is complicated due to Saturn's current retrograde status. Saturn and Mars facing off generally brings a study of tension, pressure, and precision, effects which make most of our technology and tools do what they do. With Saturn retrograde, we may be faced with confronting deficient, excessive, or variable Saturn energy, which could feel as if the guardrails, structures, and accountability protocols have gone haywire. In the face of this, Mars's first reaction could be anger. But let's remember that the root emotion is fear, stirred up by the precarious and loose voyage of retrograde Saturn in Pisces. Reinforcing this insecurity is that Mars's host, Mercury, is also retrograde in the emotional, watery environment of Cancer, which also makes Mars doubt the logic behind almost any big decisions at this time. Mars will move through Virgo until mid-September. Until mid-August, Mercury will be retrograde. Saturn will be retrograde through November 27th. The advice here is to exercise patience and to not jump the gun. Move forward with caution and attention, assessing new environments with the intention of learning new scales of efficiency. Mars will feel the aspect of Saturn, but also give a few of it his own. From Virgo, Mars pushes into Sagittarius by his fourth aspect, putting us in the mind of expansion and growth. Sagittarius will also be feeling it from Venus plus Jupiter, that combination in Gemini, and from Saturn in Pisces. It's like the opera is playing at full volume in Sagittarius until mid-August, when Venus moves to Cancer, but continues to play without the vocals through mid-September. This is a bit of energy to harness, so steady as she goes. Mars also aspects Saturn in Pisces via his standard issue opposition aspect, which differs from the push Mars was giving Saturn while he was in Leo. Now that Mars and Saturn are face to face, Mars will feel some pushback from Saturn through mid-September. Since this equation offers variable amounts of force and pressure, it would be great to check in with the team and make sure everyone is on the same page before any major pushes. Finally, Mars alone wields the eighth aspect, and from Virgo, that is directed at his own sign of Aries, currently vacant of any transiting planets. But if Aries figures prominently in your chart, that sector of life may be subject to some transformative and courageous energy through mid-September while Mars transits Virgo. Full moon in Capricorn, Shravan Nakshatra, August 9th. August 2025 begins with a waxing moon, and both Venus and Mars newly settled into their next steps, with Venus joining Jupiter in Gemini and Mars striding through Virgo. Suddenly, Mercury's role as dispositor of Venus, Jupiter, and Mars becomes important and even interesting, given that Mercury stays retrograde through August 10th, the day after the moon becomes full at 23 degrees Capricorn in Saturn's Earth sign. Many of the planets are tied up into this full moon, with the Sun joining retrograde Mercury in the moon's sign of Cancer. Retrograde Saturn is called into the meeting by the moon's presence in Capricorn, which is Saturn's territory. Mercury, who opposes the moon in this bright moment, is hosting Jupiter, Venus, and Mars in his signs of Gemini and Virgo. The only two planets not directly involved are the nodes of the moon. Rahu, currently in Aquarius, and Ketu, currently in Leo. In late July, when Mars moved into Virgo, this also broke the dramatic Kala Amrita Yoga, which was hemming the planets on one side of the nodal axis, bringing events that are laced with karmic intensity. This combination was in effect during June and July, breaking up when Mars moved past Ketu in late July. The dispositor of the full moon, Saturn, and the planet opposing the full moon, Mercury, are both in retrograde motion and also disturbed by being in water signs. This challenging situation for Saturn and Mercury may churn up feelings of frustration that quickly lead to resignation. Surrender to the call for letting go of the tried and true. Even though the next steps aren't crystal clear, new tools will appear. Jupiter and Venus in Gemini inform us that there are new things to learn, so look for your educational path and guides forward. Mars in Virgo tells us that it is time to find remedies and solutions in the stockpiles that we already hold. The moon in Capricorn reflects the need for letting go, but with discernment and compassion. The nakshatra, or lunar sign for this full moon, is Shravan, which is a strong placement for the moon. This sector of space puts us in the position of clear reception, open-mindedness, and authentic listening. With so much retrograde energy around this full moon, it may feel as if there is little clarity and that information sources are patching together scant data. Listen intently and remain open, but with guardrails. Surrender to letting go appropriately. Mercury direct in Cancer, August 10th. After the moon starts its journey back to the arms of the sun, waning through mid-August, Mercury grabs onto a buoy and takes a watery stand, resuming direct motion through the moon sign of Cancer on August 10th. Having spent a chunk of time in Cancer, Mercury is ready to giddy up and go, so he quickly retraces his steps from 11 degrees Cancer and on into Leo on August 30th. Mercury in direct motion will bring a little stability to the projects that Venus and Jupiter have going in Gemini, as well as to the new campaign Mars has in mind for Virgo. The signature of 3 is strong with Mercury, as well as with retrograde cycles, as the retrograde planet will transit the same sector of space 3 times. First time in direct motion, the second time in reverse, and the third once again in direct motion. Whatever this zone is related to in a personal horoscope could experience this do-over or try again energy as Mercury races through once more starting August 10th. Check your chart to see what life department could benefit from this one more time energy during late August. Especially when it comes to mental health, emotional processing, and analyzing health indicators, August could be a good time to reorganize. Mercury will be present in Leo in September when the eclipses manifest, bringing an objective perspective to the shadow play. The Sun transits Leo from August 16th through September 16th. The Sun moves into the throne room of the zodiac, ready to hold court from August 16th through September 16th. With Ketu in Leo and Rahu in Aquarius, we see this particular royal session going through some complications due to an eclipse pairing with the full moon on September 7th and the new moon on September 21st. There will be a total lunar eclipse when the moon in Aquarius opposes the sun in Leo on September 7th. The sun will have already moved to Virgo for the second eclipse of the pair, which yields a partial solar eclipse on September 21st. The August part of the sun in Leo should be relatively calm. But what we may but we may feel the energy ramping up toward the end of the month as the sun approaches Ketu and feels the aspect of Rahu more closely. Eclipse energy is interesting. Even though the sun during this Leo transit will not experience a total eclipse, there is still the negotiation of the shadowy, headless energy of Ketu affecting the bright, clear light of the sun. With Venus in Cancer starting August 20th, we have some vital and dynamic energy surrounding Leo, given that Mars is also supporting Leo while moving through Virgo. This could be quite an interesting use of creative energy, with writer's blocks being blown away and obstruction to projects being overcome. Venus transits Cancer from August 20th through September 14th. Venus glides through Gemini during early August, giving us a magical combination of planets that supports relationship, education, and social benefits. Jupiter is the teacher who focuses on the laws of nature, and Venus is the teacher who focuses on the laws of society. The two great teachers will join exactly on August 11th. When two planets that are neither luminaries or shadow causers, which means not the Sun, Moon, Rahu, or Ketu, when these two planets are occupying the same degree of a sign, we get an effect known as planetary war. While this sounds dramatic and violent, the true result feels more like two people squeezing through a small space as one passes by another. Keep an eye open during August 10th through 12th as Venus moves past Jupiter. There could be a change of heart having to do with relationship, education, major purchases, or creative direction. New moon in Leo, Magha Nakshatra, August 22nd. As August 22nd becomes August 23rd, the moon joins the sun at 7 degrees Leo for a new moon in Leo that strangely does not yield any kind of actual eclipse, even though the sun, moon, and Ketu will all be placed in Leo. Ketu at 25 degrees Leo is just a little too far away from the sun and moon to line up for an eclipse. Even though the physical eclipse energy will not manifest, we may still get some vibes due to the proximity and energy of the luminaries joining Ketu in Leo. Specifically, this new moon lands in Magha Nakshatra, the lunar sign at the beginning of Leo that is ruled by Ketu itself, further inviting an analysis of how the spiritually liberating energy of Ketu could express during this time. With new moon energy asking for a reset or a restart, and Ketu energy inviting radical letting go, switching tracks, and transformational energy, we may find ourselves ready to pivot as August begins to wind down. Rather than choosing between pivoting to the left or to the right, we may be looking at pivoting from outside to inside, even just for a moment as we collect ourselves and reorient. Mercury transits Leo from August 30th through September 14th. After an extended retreat in Cancer starting on June 22nd, Mercury slips through the karmic knot that separates Cancer and Leo on August 30th for a high-speed chase through Leo that takes him right through the eclipse zone and into Virgo on September 14th. We will revisit Mercury's attempt to rush the gate, following Mars's example, in the September forecast. Early September sees our solutions coming through as clever and flexible, as opposed to brute force inspired. September 2025 headlines. The outer planets hold the frame. Retrograde Saturn will be in Pisces, Jupiter stays in Gemini, Rahu rules Aquarius, and Ketu will be in Leo. There will be a full moon total lunar eclipse in Aquarius, Purva Bhadra Nakshatra, on September 7th. Mars transits Libra from September 13th through October 27th. Venus transits Leo from September 14th through October 9th. Mercury transits Virgo from September 14th through October 3rd. The Sun transits Virgo from September 16th through October 16th. And then we have a new moon partial solar eclipse in Virgo, Uttara Falguni Nakshatra, on September 22nd, which is also the time of the autumnal equinox. So that time in the third week of September looks a little bit interesting. Thank you so much for listening to the August 2025 Vedic Astrology forecast. I hope you have a great month. Take care of yourself. Thank you for listening to this presentation. If you are interested in following my work, look for Kerry Shamblin Astrology on YouTube, Spotify, Patreon, Facebook, and Instagram. My monthly forecast is published in written and audio format on my website, planetaryinfluence.com, where you can join my email list or book a one-on-one session with me. My goal is to light your path toward a joyful and liberated life experience.